All right, so they got him on here. So basically what they talk about is that Walmart is the new gold saucer. Walmart is where there's like a whole bunch of shit. There's chocobos there. There's a Coliseum. There's a whole bunch of other characters. But there's a bunch of new characters at Walmart. So here you have Sung. Talks about Sung. Got our images of our guy here. He looks a little bit older, you know, as he should. Doesn't look as young as he did in Crisis Core. He looks a bit older. Yeah, the little dot thing. I don't know why they gave him that dot. I don't know, is that a mole or something? Gotta be a mole. Alright, so this is Sung. He's an acquaintance of Aerith. Alright, so then they start talking about Don Corneo and people in the Walmart. Alright, so here's Don Corneo. You have a full character render now, not just what we've seen in the trailers. So it's pretty faithful to FF7 with a lot of extra detail. You know, he's got some like high fashion pants, and you know, this robe looks like it's worth $2,000. God, why does this keep going to the top? Alright, and then there's this image of, I don't know what could be his chair. Alright, he's looking for the next Miss Corneo. Although his mouth is as foul as his face, he has an uncanny way with people. Alright. So then it gets into these new characters for Walmart. So this is that Honeybee Inn guy. And I don't know if it's Andrea or Andrea. I could think it's Andrea, to be honest. Andrea Rodea. So yeah, he's like a dancer at Honeybee Inn. And so now him and Don Corneo and all these other people are like, you know, the chairmans of Walmart. So he's a man of influence within the quarter with the authority to approve women for Corneo's auditions. Each night he dazzles his crowd with performances that defy description. Always seeking perfection, he rigorously trains both his mind and body. So, yeah. So he's going to help, I guess, like dress Cloud up. But, you know, he's a person of influence in Walmart. And as we go down this thing, there's going to be more and more and more of these people. So here's another new character who is, I don't know if he's like a henchman for Don Corneo, but Leslie Kyle. So he looks really cool. You know, he's got this weird, he looks very Nomura. Very Nomura, man. Like the capri pants, you know, the hammerhead hat. He looks like he's straight out of 15, to be honest. He looks like a character from 15. Which, you know, is probably very Roberto Ferrari, to be honest, rather than Nomura. Because I think Nomura is just the director now. I think Roberto Ferrari is doing the character designs. But his lackey may look young, but he has the heart of an old curmudgeon. His dead-eyed stare and general apathy have earned him pride of place among the Don's men. So he's just, you know, the guy that carries out shit for Don, I guess. I don't know what to say. You know, it's too early to say at this point. It's too, you know, it's speculation. But he looks very shady. He looks like he doesn't talk a lot. And, you know, he does some dirty stuff. You know, like murder or kidnapping. But just speculation. I'm not saying for sure. All right. And then Madam M, another person of influence. So we have like this geisha woman. Here she is. And I don't know if she runs a brothel. What did this say? Oh, this thing is fucking annoying that it keeps going to the top. Fix your sight square. All right. Madam M is the proprietress of a hand massage parlor. So happy endings. Like Andrea, she has a great deal of influence within the quarter. That includes the authority to approve women for Corneo's auditions. Be warned, she is a prideful sort, only as courteous as her customers are deep-pocketed. So, she's a hoe. She's a hoe, man. You're going to go into her place, and they're going to be like, it's going to be like a host club, probably. You know, hey, buy the lady a drink. Buy her a $30 beer. You know, or something like that. And if you don't have any money, get the fuck out. But, yeah, I don't know why you would need to talk to her, I guess. All right, and then they got this weird-looking guy. I thought they were going to say, like, this is the guy from the Chocobo farm, but you got Chocobo Sam. Look at this fucking guy, man. This is a guy in Walmart? Are you kidding me? What the hell? What the hell, man? Like, all right, I need a rancher. There you go. That's a stereotypical rancher right there. And here he is. He's got his fist out. A chocobo handler in Wall Market. Chocobo Sam is another prominent figure with the authority to approve women for Corneo's audition. So I get like having the influencers, you know, like in big cities, there's people who have restaurants and clubs and other things like the mayor, all that stuff, big businesses that, you know, have a say in what happens in the city, right? So that they're trying to do that with Wall Market, but I hate this whole thing that it's like the 4 chairman people have to approve the women for Don Corneo. I just think it's like kind of dumb and redundant. All right, it's just I don't understand. I don't understand why in Remake you're gonna have to like impress all these people. It sounds like a Dragon Ball Z episode, man. To be honest, it sounds like massive filler, a lot of boring filler, which makes me nervous. Now I know if I upload this to YouTube, people are gonna be like, "You're a fucking idiot. It's gonna be sweet." Yeah, cool, man, cool. But I'm just saying, like, you got all these weird characters, and you know you're probably gonna have to do some weird mini games for them, and it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be some filler, to be honest. It may not be bad. It may be fun. You never know. But yeah. So he can approve women. He runs a delivery service called Sam's Delivery. Very original. He also happens to be an avid gambler, though he's hooked more on the rush than any money he may win. So they really gave this guy personality, which I don't think is necessary. But, I mean, cool, I guess. So then here's some redundant information. If you played the demo, you know how you can figure out how Barrett plays. This is Cloud and Barrett in what can be, you know, the train tracks before they go to the next reactor to blow it. That's from the first Mako reactor. But it also talks about his new ability called Lifesaver, which he shares his HP with everyone. So that's actually, that could be cool. Talks about materia. You got enemy skill. You can only use these moves when it's equipped. And then they try to get into the more information about Wall Market, that Wall Market is this really big, influential place, and basically Shinra doesn't have any control in it. I don't know if this is all of Sector 6. Is that what they say Wall Market is? Yeah, Sector 6 plate. But like, yeah, Shinra's not involved, and Don Corneo runs this whole thing. So it's very red light, it's very influential, there's a lot of activities. It kind of reminds me of that one underground area in a Yakuza game. There's a Yakuza game where you go down and there's all this stuff to do, and there's a Coliseum, which, speaking of which, after we look at all these images, this is definitely Corneo's place, I think. Because the guy sits outside and, you know, approves the women. But this is really cool, man. So, Don Corneo has a Corneo Coliseum. Corneo, I don't know how you say his name, whatever, but there's a Coliseum now. So this is why I'm saying it's kind of like the Gold Saucer, because there's all these activities to do. There's probably, you know, you got squats and the other mini games and stuff you could probably do with Chocobo Handler Sam, the Geisha, Andrea. You could probably do some dance mini games or something. And then here you have a Coliseum, which is really, really cool. Look at this image, man. I think this is really cool. You got this guy with a knife and a dog, and then here's Cloud up here, and all the people spectating. It's not like, you know, those 90s RPGs where, what is it? That, you know, they kind of, the crowd looked very fake and like filled up, but you have a real crowd, man. You got a whole bunch of NPCs here. And then, yeah, this is really, really sick. I'm hoping that, God, I'm going to love doing this while I'm playing the game to get like extra materia or good equipment and taking on extra challenges. Dude, you're really going to be able to test your mettle and your skill with this stuff, and it's going to be so cool and fun. And even if you fail it, you're probably going to keep doing it because it's going to be that fun. That's what I get out of this. It's looking really, really neat. Yeah, so then we got another image of the Honeybee Inn. Is this Tifa right here? Kind of looks like Tifa. Honeybee Inn. So yeah, and then at the Honeybee Inn, there's some more descriptions down here. Go down here. All right, every night the audiences are dazzled by the gorgeous cast of girls and boys. And then this is crazy. It's still a brothel because they're like, hey, man, you want some private time with one of the ladies? One of the men? Just check in at this counter here, you know. Get your wallet out. Discerning customers, allowing them to enjoy private time. And then, you know, we have some images of what could be the S&M room at Don Corneo's mansion, where you went way down the stairs and you met up with Tifa. Here is, you know, Aerith glammed up right outside the mansion. They're also saying that people have multiple costumes which could be really neat for, replayability. You could be like, oh yeah, I want to get this perfume or this dress or this tiara and see what happens. I mean, if you're gonna do an episode 1, man, there's probably like so many different ways the Corneo Mansion can play out depending on the different items that you get. There's probably a lot of alternate scenarios. Now, just speculation. I'm not saying that for sure. Just speculation. But I feel like there could be a good chance of something like that happening. And then we got some look at the Sector 7 area. This is basically, on the opposite side of 7th Heaven. You got the Beginner's Hall. I can only guess that this is, or it's near, that like 3-story building where you went in there was an equipment shop, the guy shooting at the thing, the kid had the inn at the 3rd level, and then at the 2nd level you had the Beginner's Hall. But it's a little bit different now because you go into the Beginner's Hall and you got the shop guy on the ground floor, but at the 2nd floor, Biggs and Wedge are actually like the watchmen of the sector. So it's the base operations for the neighborhood watch. So they're going to be hanging out in there when they're not at the bar, I guess. And then they also say that there's a jukebox thing. You got a jukebox. You can collect music and CDs from the various shops and stuff that you come across in the game. And then you can play them at, where is it? You can get these songs as discs. Come across areas playing special music. Right. An icon will appear at the top left of the screen. The prelude. So it all has album art? Wow, that's actually kind of neat. You can play a disc on any jukebox. This one can be found at Tifa's Bar, 7th Heaven. All right. And then we talk about Leviathan, which was really weird about this is, where's the word I'm looking for? Non-elemental. Leviathan is non-elemental, which I know that in Final Fantasy VII, they didn't have a water element. I think it was in 8 and 10, they had water element. So he's non-elemental. So the tide just does a bunch of damage. If they're weak enough, I'm sure it just washes them away, like we know of Leviathan. And yeah, he looks pretty sick. Yeah, he looks very marine and scaly. I mean, how much different do you need Leviathan to look, right? It's fine. We're cool with that. We're all cool with it. If you're not, suck a dick. I don't know what to say. And then, yeah, that's the end of the new update. So it's actually looking really neat because, we have all these new characters. I just hope that with all these new characters and these new possible features that are in Wall Market that, it doesn't end up being too filler or too boring or beating around the bush. That's my only qualm with it, because otherwise it could be pretty neat, because I think of Wall Market now as Episode 1's Gold Saucer, which there's so many activities and things to do, so I'm really hoping it's a neat place to be, and I'm really looking forward to the Coliseum, man. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be sweet.